Welcome to Holding Space. Michael Zen is a visual producer and creative photographer using his imaginative visionary energy to channel Zen and hold space for spiritual and innovative discussion. Each episode creates a supportive, accepting, and open environment that allows exploration and expertise to come together with engaging and entertaining convergence. With guest and community all helping the shape of the way, Michael is grateful to be together to hold space. Now here is your host of Holding Space, Michael Zen.
Yes, here I am, a big smile on my face for 2026. It is super exciting. I feel the energy. I was just looking over here at the chat room, and it just got me pumped up all of a sudden because my good friend Arnie Layton is there, hashtagging live, which you should all do because it's like the thing to do. But what that does is it tickles the algorithm and lets them know that we are here holding space. Welcome to 2026, holding space in 2026. This is the first episode of 2026, and I am super excited. I see so many people out there. Mort, Ally, hello. I was smiling at Scott, welcoming Aho, welcoming Devora, and saying Aho to me, and Aho to Ally, and Aho to Arnie, and Ally blessing Arnie, Scott back. And everybody just exchanging energy. I love it. I love it so much. I was smiling specifically at, and Linda Owen as well. I was smiling specifically at Aho because I was at a New Year's celebration, and one of the facilitators, I guess you would call one of the light workers, one of the beautiful souls that was there, Fairy Hawk, was somebody who I met in Costa Rica during the retreat that I went to. Some of you guys know the story of my retreat. What's up, Mel McConnell? Good to see you. What's up, Evelyn? Good to see you. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. The retreat that I was in, Fairy Hawk was there, and that's where I learned about the ceremonial calling in of the directions. Which is where I know Aho to come from. You call in the directions: the north, the east, the west, the south, and the divine energies of the feminine and the masculine, and all of these amazing ceremonial things that I just find really kind of add so much to the experience when you're trying to connect to everything, right? And so, speaking of ceremonial experiences and ceremonial things, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, right? But I'm going to do it now. This little ceremonial thing that I started to do here at Holding Space, and that is to do 3 breaths together and just kind of sage the space. I call it saging the space because my bowl here, this lavender colored bowl, is called Sage. My sound bowl, and I sage the space, but I do it sonically, and I breathe and I connect to my breath, and hopefully you guys connect to your breath. Mel, I see, is from Victoria, Australia, which I love when the show gets a international essence to it. So thank you for tuning in, Mel. Anyway, so if you forgot how to do it, you can follow me. It's pretty easy. The instructions are in through the nose. You breathe in for about 4 seconds. You hold it real quick at the top for like a second or two, and then you release. And when you release, you actually release. You kind of intentionally release the air, but you're also releasing energy that you don't need. So when you're breathing in like the light energy and good energy, stuff you do need, the prana, all of the different ways it's referred to, and then we release. So let's just do it together. 3 little breaths together. Here we go. In through the nose, and release. Even just doing one, it's good. In through the nose, hold it, and release. Let it go. One last one together. Hold it a little bit and intentionally just, I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't need that. So good. So good. Breathing is fundamental. Anyway, I didn't mean to stop sage. I stopped sage. Did you hear that? I usually let sage ring out. I didn't mean to do that. Anyway, there we go. We should be grounded together. Thank you guys for indulging me in my moment of breathing. It's like a little bit of that, what's it called? Oh my God, I can't believe I can't think of the word. There's a real reaction, a physical reaction with my blood and oxygen and all that. I forget the word. Oh my God, it just left my head. Anyway, welcome to this year. I'm excited. I am going to be interviewing some really cool people. I don't even call it interviewing. I just call it exchanging energy and kind of sharing the essence of the people who are in the space that I'm holding at the moment. And Evelyn, I just love breathing. I love that. It's so cool. It's such a simple thing to do and to love doing. And there you go. You just brought more joy into your life so simply. So tonight's guest, I'm excited to talk to because as I was talking to her right before the show, she's an artist, as well as all of these other kind of metaphysical things that we talk about here. And it just reminded me of my days in art school and when I was more physically working with my hands. I do a lot of art still digitally, and I do a lot of creation digitally. I actually just got this. I'm excited about this to work with GarageBand a little bit and get back into it. I play bass normally, but that will allow me to do some musical stuff right with my computer. So I'm excited. And Canada is here. I love it. Canada, welcome Canada. And Karame 19 is here. Good to see you, Karame. And Arnie, love it. Keep expanding the community and meshes all like-minded of souls. Love what you do, Michael. I love what you do, Arnie. Arnie's been on the show. An amazing tarot card creator and reader and just purveyor of energy, right? We're all purveyors of energy. Kim Princess, creator of reality, is here as well. We had Kim on the show. Kim was starting to kind of tap into her own essence and connection with tarot and all of that stuff. So I had her on as a guest. And on the show, she was invited to be a guest on 2 other shows and do tarot reading. So she was creating her own reality just by answering the call to be here on the show, because I had put out a call. I said, hey, you have an interesting story? Email me. And she did. I should put that banner up. Well, I'm not talking. That banner should be somewhere. Oh, I don't know if it's here still. I'm in the Sacred Spiral Network. One more thing before I get started is the shout out to the Sacred Spiral Network, this network that we're on. I started doing these shows, this kind of stuff on the live stream of consciousness, which is something I do by myself on my own YouTube channel. And doing that, here's a little story about life and manifestation. Doing that, I crossed paths with some people who were from the Sacred Spiral Network doing shows there. And, oh, you should meet this person. You should meet this person. And having guests on my show, I met Kelly Brickle, who runs the Sacred Spiral Network, which is this network you're watching right now. If you're not on my YouTube channel, you're probably on one of the Sacred Spiral channels that the Sacred Spiral Network connects to and broadcasts on. But it's a lot of shows with psychic mediums and astrologers and all sorts of energetic, cool, fun stuff. The cool, fun stuff. It's like a kids network for spiritual people kind of thing. And it's all good. So shout out to the Sacred Spiral Network, Kelly Brickle, Jennifer Rose, who's, I don't know if she's sick or what. I think everyone, the flu is going around. A lot of people are kind of down and out or just getting out of it. So if you are coming out of it, relax, breathe. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk to my guest. So let's get back to this moment of that. So tonight I'm holding space for somebody who I haven't met. I would call this person a star being based on what I know and what I know that she does. And then, like I said, I was looking at her website. Let me pop that up on the bottom while we're talking. She is right here. Save this banner, and now I can show it. No, I want to scroll it. Gosh darn it. There we go. No, that's not going to scroll. Scroll across the bottom. Why is that not scrolling across the bottom? So strange. StreamYard is doing some weird things to me tonight. I'll show that in a little bit because it's kind of big and I don't want to use it. But anyway, what a crazy way to introduce the show. Welcome to 2026 and welcome to Holding Space. Ally Kat. How you doing, Ally?
I'm good. You're glitching. You got spirit.
I do. You know, my camera's been doing that and I don't know why. I fix it and then it does it again. And it seems to be when I do these shows. I got spirit. I think I do. It's all right. Spirit is welcome. I cleared the space. I've welcomed it into the space. It's energy. You know, it's all good in my book. It's all the same. It all comes from the same place. But welcome to the show. I'm excited to talk to you and find out all about you and who you are and your mission here on Earth, right? Because I think we all have a mission on Earth, whether we're from Earth or not from Earth. We all have a mission on Earth. We came to Earth from somewhere, right? So I think we all have a mission. So you were introduced to me. Our good friend Arnie Layton said you've got to talk to Ally. So here I am talking to you. Why don't you tell me what is it that you think Arnie was thinking when he said you got to talk to Ally? Tell me about yourself.
So where do I start? So we're fellow New Yorkers, by the way, all of us here. Cool. I'm originally from Staten Island, New York.
Cool.
And my mission pretty much started before incarnation, realizing that I had a lot to come in with. A lot. My house that I used to live in was a Stargate.
Okay, so that's interesting. An interesting way to jump right into this. Yes. because normally be like, oh, I grew up in a haunted house, or you know, I saw spirits or whatever. But you're like, my house was a Stargate. Explain that to us. Tell us what it means.
So my soul is very ancient, like most of you, and I volunteered to come in to hold a frequency key to a Stargate. It's not a major one, it's a minor one, but it happens to be in Staten Island, New York. And I orchestrated my soul to be adopted and then to be brought to the family who would purchase the land that it was on. And as a child, yes, I saw aliens and demons and spirits and angels and all the component of that. And I only found this out right before I moved. And that was 4 years ago.
So you didn't know that you had all these experiences?
I knew I had the experiences. I did not know it was a Stargate.
Aha. So recently it's been revealed to you somehow, and I want to know how, that this is what you were experiencing. So you knew you were going through some things. So tell us, how'd you find out?
My whole life. My whole life. So 4 years ago, jumping on Telegram, and I found Ashiana Dean's star map, Stargate, Axel Tonal Line map book. I'm just curious. I'm looking through it. I see Staten Island, New York, and it had its coordinates. Okay, I'm going to put my house address and see what the longitude, latitude is exact.
Wow.
My whole life made sense in a snap.
Wow. That's pretty interesting. Okay. So, oh man, I wish sometimes I wish I would like produce this show more like ahead of time, right? Because I would have had all those maps. We could have brought them up, and I would have loved to see that stuff. And Arnie saying ley lines, Staten Island and Eastern Long Island have a lot of activity on them.
Yes.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And Evelyn is saying that was my previous backyard. Makes for interesting experiences for certain. Okay, so we're getting some validation on Staten Island being specifically energetic that way.
Yeah. I a year before I found out, I had pictured a Draco, and I was just being mocking the Jabadude, and I was being a plague doctor, and in the mask, there was a projection back of a Draco.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So, and you still at that point haven't interpreted all of this to what you know now.
Mhm.
Okay. So what did the Draco mean to you? What did that experience how did you
It was
and
basically just showing me, like, what was coming in through the gate,
Mhm, mhm,
and after finding out about the gate a year later, I basically had to shut it, and I was taken into a trance meditative state by some very beautiful Canadian, light workers who helped me go very deep, get to source, get all my guides and dragons, which are aspects of me and all of you,
mhm.
come down, and so only people that have the same frequency key can open it back up.
Hmm, interesting. Okay. And what does that key allow you to do? Like, I guess obviously have these experiences. That's part of it, right?
It's a
Um,
doorway.
okay. So, all right, so let's get forward to now where you're understanding these things and tell us what this means. Tell us what you're here for. If it's clearer to you now, and you know more of why you're here and why you went through the things you did.
Most of us are here to anchor the light, but also infiltrate the darkness. So
Mm,
some of us hold both vibratory keys, not necessarily polarities,
mhm, mhm,
keys.
mhm, mhm,
So I infiltrated the dark in order to seed the light
mhm,
and alchemize it, transmute it. And now I'm anchored in another place. I'm in Indiana right now, and this is a very heavy, dark area as well. And
really?
I'm here to anchor in the light.
Hmm. What's dark in what way?
I'm right below Gary, Indiana, that had the demon house. There's a lot of
Mm,
poltergeist activity. Like Michigan is not good. It's just not good. Very heavy, dense Native American energy here.
mhm, mhm,
Same as Staten Island. Staten Island also very ancient with Native nations and
mm,
cultures and curses and just but now I'm more of a divine neutral being. That's what source and all of them upstairs have driven me to get to the neutral place because we're shifting to 4D. We're no longer in the stories of 3.
mhm, mhm,
So shifting into divine neutrality, I know good and evil exist, but I
mhm,
see beyond it because it all serves a purpose.
mhm, mhm. I very much resonate with what you're saying. And that's why I love doing this and having these conversations, right? Because I think there are a lot of ways to say what you just said. And I think that I'm hoping that I feel like around me, that's what's happening. People are coming to their own terms of what you just said, right? They're
Mhm.
coming to their own versions of what that means. Um, and I've had some very odd discussions on this show. And again, one concept can be summed up in 2 words, and that is forgiving Hitler, right? The idea of that. And I think that's very much related to what you're saying. And you also, I think, were very careful with your words, right? You didn't want to say the words polarity. You didn't want to use that as a way to describe something. But I do think that that is a very three-dimensional concept and an important part of the three-dimensional experience.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I love I love that, and I guess that's something I relate to in you. I don't even know you, right? But there's this real kind of, I think, this peace in understanding that, and knowing that, yes, we're on Earth and there's a lot of shit here, right? And darkness. And you're saying Indiana, where you are, there's darkness, but you're like smiling when you say it, because you're like, it is what it is, and I'm actually here to confront it. I'm here specifically to like make friends with that darkness in a way, right? Am I getting that all right?
Yes, it's all source.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever you want to label that terminology as, the one infinite creator, whatever it is that you accumulate to the all that is.
Right.
It's everything. So if it said, if we go back into a biblical sense, and I don't like to do that because I never read it, but let there be, that means everything, and all serves a purpose.
Yeah.
So even though we at a human third dimensional scale will go, oh, but in the buts, that, this, that, and the other thing, thou shalt not judge, because it serves a purpose. And we might not understand what that purpose is. It might not even affect us, but we have to see beyond the bigger picture. And as now we are all expanding, we see, some of us, the expanded viewpoint of, oh, eeps.
Yeah, and I think that's what people are talking about when they talk about the shift happening. I think it's going to be a shift in perception, and it's going to be a shift in understanding that, and it's, to me, it's exciting, right? To see, like, oh my God, soon there won't be a line between good and evil, right? And that's a good thing, right? Because that's what's so difficult, I think, right now, the contrast and the division that's going on, right? People picking sides. Oh, good or evil. Oh, this is good, that's evil. Putting the labels on it, right? I think that's all going away.
It's perception. You create your reality, and what you allow into your reality is what's created.
Yeah, absolutely. I would just want to kind of go back a bit in the chat room here, because I think this question is good. So asking this question, I kind of want to answer it myself real quickly, but then I want to ask your opinion on it, which is tuning in while enjoying some eucalyptus spearmint aromatherapy. My gift for my birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Melissa. But the question is, how do you know if you've had a past life, or how old your soul is? And I want to pose that question to you. But before I do, I want to just put my thoughts, because what I feel just in response to that is, it's going to be different for everybody else, for everybody. And you'll know, but there are certain, I think, kind of similarities, just like there are similarities in NDEs, that we can talk to and say, oh, this might indicate that you've had a past life. So what are your feelings on that question?
I am 28,628 years old, and in density. So my soul, it densified. We call that the fall. Identified in some form or another that many times, from my recollection and understanding.
Wow.
To being an old soul, you just have an affinity, an intuition, something within you, a knowing to persons, places, or things that you can't put words to, but you have a heart resonance with. And as you develop that understanding, you're like, oh, the deja vu stuff happens. Some people get snapshots of other selves, other lifetimes, and just have an affinity for it.
Yeah. I'm kind of waiting for that to come through, like, because I know that somewhere inside me, I've had experiences. I've had these little brushes with other realms, let's say, you know what I mean? And even not even other realms. Well, I guess this would be an other realm. The idea of a download, right? A moment where you're kind of in bed, or you're having you're in a certain physical place and moment, but your brain just all of a sudden gets filled with this information or this knowing or something. I've had those experiences. So yeah, so I mean, but I don't practice it, right? And I think you certainly can practice it by daily practices and by focusing, by intention, right? Intention is an important thing, and it's something that we can control. So I think you can, and I don't know why I'm so connected to these concepts, but my intention hasn't brought me to like, oh, I want to study this, right? I want to learn how to do
You don't need.
telekinesis or something like, you know, I just haven't had that, right? What does that mean?
It's all with. I mean, this is a sign language sign for God, but it's
Yeah.
literally all within you.
Right.
And each one of us has an unfolding of different abilities that our higher selves. To me, my perception of reality, we're multidimensional.
Mhm.
Your spirit guides are just fractalized versions of you. I channeled the archangels. I got two that having experience through my physical vehicle. But then you have celestials, rishis, ascended masters, Daihan Kohans. You have elementals. You have all these things that are you
Mhm.
that drop down information. Your higher self in the next higher up density is controlling what you're ready for.
Mhm.
And all of our awakening is at different intervals because we're here. And I, especially myself, is here to guide people to the next level.
Mhm. And I want to say, okay, so how do you do that? But I know how you do that, and I know that it's going to be different for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. See, that's what's so weird about me. I think it's like, obviously, I don't know everything, right? But I know a lot of the stuff. I know a lot of the stuff, the stuff, right? Whatever the stuff is. Um, But I guess maybe there's a part of me, and I'm just thinking out loud right now. Maybe there's a part of me that just really just wants to enjoy being human. You know what I mean? And wants to stop thinking about all of this stuff. You know what I mean?
All of that information that you seek, if you asked your higher self, hey, I think I'm ready. If you're thinking you're sort of on that cusp of being ready.
Mhm.
That Stargate information that came to me, like my whole life making sense, why I was seeing aliens and angels and demons and all of that stuff made sense in that one instant, but I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't looking forward to it. I didn't ask for it. It just came because my soul knew it was time for me to know.
Right.
Sometimes if we put the intention out there, but keep at it and like, I need to know, oh my
Right.
gosh, like
Right.
I'm an Aries. I'm
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
You're not going to get it because you're blocking that information from coming.
And yeah, see, I'm of that ilk too, right? Like the universe listens to what you're saying, and if you're saying I need to know, you're telling the universe I don't know. Basically,
You got to
right?
let go and surrender.
Yeah. So I hear that. So I want to tell you something about myself, or ask you some things about some of my thoughts that I've had throughout my life, that are related to what we're talking about. But I want to address Melissa here, who's awesome. Thank you, Melissa, so much for your intentions and your focus. Do you hold the burdens of past lives? How do I explain? Like, you can't have been a good guy every one of those 28,000 experiences. Hope that makes sense. So do you carry that with you now? So, and again, I think I know the answer, but I'm going to let you answer that and all of that.
That's where shadow work comes in.
Mhm.
That's when going into the dark night of the soul, the ego death, because you're not, so the uniqueness of being consciously aware in this now moment is that we are healing and rippling not just past selves, because I don't believe in time. I believe it's contextual.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's not, 3D is a linear time frame. Yes,
Mhm.
we're expanding, so I tend to just to make it make sense, but past lives concurrent lives, and higher lives. Time folds onto itself. We are healing in this conscious vehicle. We chose this to get the best parts of us integrated and the worst parts of us by Felicia. By and to heal. So we have the old self, and then the new self is now being integrated. That's the shift.
Totally. I totally believe that. So do you believe that you can transform yourself in this moment and also have an effect on another aspect of yourself?
Yes, retro causality. I'm doing this now. I'm doing the quantum merger with the spiritual. Making the quantum physics and mechanics make sense to spiritual and vice versa.
Wow, there's some good stuff going on here in the chat. I love this chat. Thank you so much, Ally, for coming on and just kind of resonating with all of this. First of all, I love my resident skeptic, Angela, who says, "How do we prove any of what you're saying?"
You can't.
And you know what? It's funny that you say that, because my response in my head, I said, "You prove it by not proving it." That was my response in my head.
We could prove it. Now that we're starting to head into the quantum realm, there are quantum physicists like Federico Fagin, who had a spiritual experience, is a physicist, and now is trying to prove via experimentation for people in the tangible needing to know by tangible evidence and facts. Any one of us that could see a spirit can't prove it to anybody unless that other person sees spirit.
Right.
But now we're going to shift into quantum, which will be able to help us understand more of this capacity.
Totally. And I love what you're saying. Spell Federico's last name, because I've been trying to think of that guy's name for a long time and look him up, and I just haven't been able to get his name.
It's spelled like Fagin. It's Fagin, I think.
Fagin. Okay,
Yeah,
Federico Fagin. Okay, I've been trying to remember that guy's name for a long time, because I watched so much stuff, right? And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. And then 2 hours later, I'm like, what was that again? I forgot what I was watching. Recently, I saw a guy, I forget his name, a great conversation about demons and aliens and angels and fairies and dragons all being the same thing, because I'm just like, yes, that's it. You get it. Like, we're all one, right? It all comes to that. And so like, that all has to make sense, right? If you say it that way. So I love everything that we're talking about. So I want to address some of this stuff, because I'm not even sure I understand it. We have user X plays host. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't, but I'm reading the comments.
All right. So you cannot change your consciousness. Your consciousness needs an observer to hold it in place.
Your higher self.
Or other aspects of yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. I love that. Okay. So we observe each other to hold a collapsed wave function, all known as form. So let's actually talk about that. User X, you've kind of got me on a tangent, which I often try to understand, which is the idea of the collective, right? And how the collective affects the three-dimensional structure that we exist within, right? Because when I'm driving in a car and I'm behind somebody, I'm in my own universe, that guy's in their own universe, but we're in the same universe. We're occupying the same space, where we've agreed on the same things, we're both in a car, right? And all of that stuff. You're giving me sign language. Tell me what you're saying.
Wavelengths.
What's that?
Wavelengths.
Okay. Well, everything is wavelengths, right? And I guess what I'm thinking, and again, I'm just trying to respond to what you're saying, is my energetic field, right, has, I believe, as a physical being, I have that torus, right?
Yes, your heart's electromagnetic field, and that becomes your torus.
Yeah. Right. So that energy is what I'm putting out. Is that physical construct part of that?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm like a walking holodeck.
Yes.
That is connected to other holodecks that kind of have the same database.
Yes.
To create the reality. Ooh, Wow.
Yes.
Did I just say that? I think I just understood something in a weird way, in a Star Trek way.
Star Trek, I kind of equate a lot of it for people more on the not the nerd nine in terms of Star Trek, Star Wars, but World of Warcraft.
Right.
I used to game,
Right.
and it's very much a construct.
Mhm.
My understanding and belief from what this is how my channeling happens. I'm a clear conduit, meaning, but I get straight from up there.
Mm.
We wrote all of this co-creatively together to have experience. We wrote all the stories. We wrote everything.
Mhm. Mhm.
What shifts now is the superposition that we all want, and most of humanity is refusing to let go of, is the third dimensional tit for tat.
Okay, okay. So I think we're gonna engage this user X. I think because I wouldn't personally myself, but I feel like by your side, I feel like a Dungeons and Dragons character in a team that
Yes.
I could take this player on. He says, he or she, user X says, sorry, all is not energy, all is a probability. There is a realm
Correct.
after death of the astral, after which we obtain knowledge. And again, you're saying that's correct because that's what I'm hearing you say about the quantum and superposition, right? So superposition and energy are separate.
It's a posit. Because if we look at the many worlds interpretation, we look at the multiverse, it is still a theorized version on third dimension. Some of us who are in more of a knowing of quantum clairvoyancy
Mhm.
will tell you that it exists.
Mhm.
Again, you create your reality. The way you perceive it, feel it, engage in it, and experience it is going to be completely different from everybody else.
Mhm.
So, whatever you posit in the world, flat earth, globe earth, toroidal earth, donut earth, hollow earth, shallow earth, inner earth, whatever you are postulating, it exists.
I was just going to say that the thing that has been recently I've been trying to get people to understand is not all of those things because that's a lot, but just two things, right? Two things can exist and both be true and
Correct.
kind of contradict each other, but still be true.
The version of you living in the reality that you're living in, if your belief is you're living on a flat earth, that's your perception of the reality that you are observing. That makes it correct for you and true for you because that's the experience
Mhm.
your nervous system, your body is perceiving.
Mhm. Mhm.
Doesn't make it right or wrong. That's the truth that you're holding in frequency.
Right. Right. So here we go. Here's a good question for you. And I want to just say hello to my friend Brian Lahr, the wizard himself. What's up, Wiz? That's true. Oh, is how is how do we get everybody to get along, right? Like, I mean, like it's like I like what you're saying is so obvious to me, right? Like it's like how do we get everyone to subscribe to this?
We're starting to see, at least in my paradigm, we're starting to see people getting out of the shame, hate, and blame.
Mhm,
It's these people, it's those people, it's this
mhm,
thing, it's that thing. And I don't watch television and I kind of stopped doing politics like a year ago. I because to me it's just a story we all wrote to experience, and I'm above that story. I don't frequent with it anymore, so it's not my reality.
mhm,
But for the majority of the people watching and tuning in, again, tuning in with your frequency,
mhm, mhm, mhm,
we're starting to see tit for tat kind of go, oh,
mhm, mhm, mhm,
like we're having the big epiphany aha moment and everybody's going to come to it at a different time frame, but
right,
I think most people are starting to see like, oh, what how I was thinking in such extremes isn't necessarily working anymore, and oh, look, the reality that I'm facing with all these things that I'm hearing, do I believe it anymore?
right.
Do
Right.
I believe the narrative in the program being inserted into my consciousness?
Right.
Now most people are starting to like question.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I believe that too, and you know, like I said, I'm excited and hopeful for the future. How do I say that? Even so, it's like I'm with you, right? I don't think I believe time is just all one thing, right? And so, how do I talk about the future? How do I get it? How do I say I'm excited about the future, right? I guess. I guess it's the truth is I'm excited about the moment, right? I'm excited about this present moment where we're at and the possibilities of the superposition of where it can be, right? So, I mean, again, this is just such a great conversation, but and it could be part of it is semantics because we're just limited to language. You know what I mean? We can't express this in any other way, but I guess I feel like we're so close. I feel like this conversation is like really close to kind of that level of awareness, you know what I mean? And and I'm hope I'm not saying that in like an ego way. Um but I just feel like it's allowing those possibilities to be, right? Just by even contemplating them. So the question I wanted to ask you is this: all of my life, I have felt very, very connected to the constellation Orion. I mean, it's a visual thing. Certainly, when I see it,
Mhm.
it's just like this crazy I don't want to say excitement, but it's a type of excitement. It's definitely a recognition, right? It's like it's some sort of acknowledgement of that connection. And what's cool is that's something that I've experienced as I've traveled around, right? So like my folks moved to Arizona and then I went out to Arizona and saw Orion there and you know, still it was a different feeling, but it was a similar feeling.
Mhm.
Um I I I haven't really defined it other than you know, I just know it and I you know, I kind of how do I even talk to you about this? You know, I know that there are stories about the archons and these galactic wars, right? And all of these things, right? Um, and that's interesting to me in some way. But I guess, and again, I'm thinking out loud and just kind of saying this, I guess just beyond that, just like it doesn't interest me to know more because underneath that, we're still all one.
Correct. So a fractal of you right now is in Orion having a life,
Mhm.
another dimensional space. Orion, from all the starseed work that I was super in a few years ago, like researching like a banana nut. Um, what the truth that I came to for my own self is that I've had taken part in parcel in so many different universes and galaxies and constructs. It started out with Palladian because I have this is natural white gray hair. It looks blonde, but it's natural. And my affinity was to the Pleiades, but then it started going to Sirius, and it started going to Alpha Beta Centauri and Encyclopedia and everywhere. And it was just the fragment of my DNA getting upgraded that made me, oh, that's just a fragment of me
Mhm.
there. Cool.
Mhm. 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 Mhm.
So I could say the same for you. You're coming online to that awareness, but you're there right now.
Hmm. Interesting. Oh, and user X. I am possessed by Orion. They use spider gun plasma orb to net the souls in the recent war. The man died smashing his sword in half in the planet last year because of Orion and reptilian correct. Now we're getting out there. Are you guys ready for this? Wow. You know, like again, I feel like it's kind of similar to I have so many friends who do so many different metaphysical things. My wife is a Reiki master and she's a psychic medium. I have friends who are psychic mediums, and like to a point where I was a skeptic, and I've just seen too much to be a skeptic on that kind of stuff anymore, right? And not that there aren't people who are faking it, right? And there are people who aren't necessarily making a connection to spirit and that kind of thing. But there are definitely people who are, right? In all sorts of different ways. And even the idea of myself, me personally, I've always struggled with certain organized religion concepts, right? So when good friends of mine are like, oh, I channel Mary Magdalene, it's a little hard for me, but there's a bigger part of me that knows it's all the same. It's all the same. And it's interesting too, Allie, because even talking to you, I feel like you're channeling a little bit of this conversation. You know what I mean? I'm tapping on these different parts of your knowledge, right? And somehow maybe that's a part of psychology, or you energetically, you've been able to compartmentalize those different fractal versions of yourself.
Yes.
Okay, so while I got to here, and since you're the key to a frequency, tell us more about that. Is that something that you're here to share with us? Are you here to, like, I'm imagining it's not malevolent, that it's benevolent, right? I mean, tell us more about that.
So the frequency that most of us hold in times to come, and it might not be in this vehicle, it might be in other vehicles that we experience. This is just a shell.
Sure.
I'm supposed to open up another type of Stargate. And I don't know if it's here or somewhere, but I'm not alone. I'm not special. There's a plethora of other people that have these keys. And it's just a mechanism of another way of shifting.
I was going to say, what's the purpose of opening the Stargate? And that's to allow your consciousness to kind of perceive
More.
extra dimensions, or more. I love it. See, that's the big thing. I feel like so many people speak with all of this language. There's so many buzzwords, right? And like, it's not that complex, right? It's just more. I love that. More. It's just more. And I love that. And that doesn't hurt my brain so much, right? My human brain, when I start to try to get specific, my brain starts to hurt. I start to feel like, okay, maybe I don't need to put some definition on it, right? Like Arnie says, limitless. Like, a big thing about the live stream of consciousness, right? It came from the idea of the question of what is consciousness, and that the idea of, like, no matter who you ask, they're going to have a different answer, and that answer is still right. You know what I mean? And I just love that idea, and that was why I started having these conversations. And like, it's weird because sometimes I just feel like, okay, I don't need to ask this question anymore. You know what I mean? Like, like, do I know the answer? Not really, but yes. You know what I mean? So again, I mean, I've just found my mission is to just show up, right? And to like it says up there, hold space, right? Just hold space for conversations like this, meeting people like you, doing things like that. I'm really starting to want to. I started playing in a band over the last couple of years again. I played in bands my whole life, and then stopped, as I got older, because it was just work and life and this and that. But it was when I got older, I realized, holy shit, when I was 20 years old in the basement having a good time with my friends, I was actually channeling. I was in that flow state, you know what I mean? And so I'm excited to get back to it. Let's talk about this, since we still got a couple minutes, because this was something I didn't want to forget about. Let me see if I can go back to your website. Where is it? Okay, I'm on your YouTube page. I believe. There we go. So let me share this, because I saw some of your artwork recently that really hit me in a certain way, and I hope people can appreciate it. Share my screen. And here is your website. Let me also put that up at the bottom of the screen here. Banners, Ally Kat Kreations. So that's, again, why is it doing that? There we go. Scroll across the bottom, save, and now show it. There we go. So this is your website, and and showing some of your artwork, and it looks like you do a couple of different mediums. You do some drawing and painting, like almost like a three-dimensional painting, I guess you would call this.
Yeah.
Right. And then some resin artwork. Are these what the heck are those called?
Organite pyramid.
Organite. Yeah, they organite.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. So I was looking at this, and I like specifically this piece because I feel like I was hoping that it would go big when I clicked it, but it doesn't. I feel like this says a lot about that flow state, right? Because I've done kind of similar exercises in artwork where you're just in a flow state, right? And I love the way you combined the three-dimensional. Just, is that acrylic paint? What is that?
That's acrylic paint and a paint pen on canvas with installation foam is my fun.
Installation foam. This
Yeah.
three-dimensional stuff is installation foam. Yeah, that's so cool. And so it was this piece here in the center that I really loved. You had actually, I think, something different, which was a little closer up or a little more condensed of this. Is that also the foam?
Yep.
So I was just looking at this piece, and I was just like, wow, there's so many layers to it that come through for me, as far as like seeing hieroglyphic kind of figurines and things in there.
Can I tell you what that is?
Sure.
So my freshman year of college, we had to paint a model, a naked one. And I did everything in geometric shapes and with texture, and I did not like how it came out. So I repurposed it and made it that. So it's just the outline of what I did.
Wow. So, but another aspect of this, right, was also like, I kind of saw it as a fractal, like almost like when you zoom into a section of a fractal, right? But it was like so imperfect. And when you think of a fractal, you think of this perfect geometry, right? But this still resonated to me as that, as a fractal. And then again, I don't know if it was on Facebook or where I saw the piece that was just more dense version. It was almost like a close-up of this green area, but it was black, and it looked almost like gross and like morbid, but it also had this other feel to it that was like life and organic, right? Is that part of the energy for you that you're getting when you do that? Or tell us about what you're feeling when you see this.
So back in the day, I, entertainment purposes only, did Timothy Leary fun. And I didn't like you, I wasn't aware that I was channeling, and I have a very unique paint stroke that is very vibrational. And I would just pick up on the vibration and listen to music and just paint for hours. And when I understood what I was doing later on, years later, I took the installation foam and I was trying to recreate something very similar.
Cool. Awesome. So regarding your entertainment value statement there, I mean, there are people who, I just wanted to see if there was anything else here I wanted to talk about. There are people who kind of, it's not entertainment value, right? There's a purpose to it. And
yes, huge.
And I'm fascinated by that, right? I've heard some really, really amazing stories.
Saved my life.
Yeah, I mean, I've experimented with psilocybin. I use cannabis, right? So, just for all transparency there, but like ayahuasca and things that are a little bit heavier and like almost require more of a discipline, right? You're supposed
Yes.
to like eat a certain way for a couple of days before and not eat certain things, and celibacy and all of these aspects to kind
Right.
of saging your energy or preparing your energy, right? Preparing yourself energetically to go through this experience. um Again, amazing stories of people having amazing transformations, more so even seeing people who come out of those experiences still intact than people who I see who kind of come out not so seemingly intact. Right now, again, who am I to say that? I'm sure in their own experience they're completely intact, right? It would somehow. But you know what I mean.
Yes.
So for me personally, I haven't been called to Mother Ayahuasca or DMT, but
Me neither.
some of the things that are happening in that space are really related, I think, to what we're talking about. And maybe it's they put the human brain and chemistry in a state that's so different that it's closer to that, or I don't know how it all works. I don't think anybody really knows how it works. But as far as that goes, now I totally forgot what I was going to even ask you about that. You were saying, you said it was for entertainment purposes only. So did you ever have any intention of doing any sort of trip
If
or?
I could do it again in that form, I would.
Mhm, mhm.
Because back then, I guess I was seeing spiritual and aware and awake into certain realms of possibilities, potentialities. But now that I'm in this different state, shifted into a higher consciousness, sky's even more the limit. I think that was just a little introduction into, oh, those particles are really moving.
Right,
Oh, everything is vibrating. And
right,
that's the allowance that some of that stuff will help you see is that not everything is just solid matter. It all
right,
vibrates.
right. And I think too, just again thinking out loud in response to the conversation, it's not necessarily a traditional seeing, right, with your eyes. Sometimes it is, right. The hallucinatory part of it is visual, but it's more of a feeling, right? And a knowing, which I think is the key, and I think that's the connection to that deeper layer, right? Is reality isn't about anything physical, seeing or touching or tasting. Reality is about feeling, um in my opinion, um
In the
and
human experience.
in the human experience. Yeah. Yeah, and Artie says my best work gets done to music, my channel state. I could have this conversation for an hour, but we're starting to run out of time. So I just want to one address a little bit of the chat room here, because we did have user X kind of getting into their story. And I didn't want to get into it. I think it's interesting, user X. And if you want to email me at Mr. Z1 at AOL.com, ZEE1. I would certainly love to talk to you and maybe even have you as a guest to talk about it. That sounds like a whole separate tangent, right?
Yeah,
And
it's
so,
a paradigm.
yeah, so I mean, I'm holding space for Ally Kat right now. So I do totally appreciate you being there, user X. I just want you to know that, and I do appreciate whatever point of view it is you're bringing to the table. And Scott Pace, thank you for being here. It wouldn't be a great show without all of the great people listening. Thank you, Luna. Awesome. I'm so late, Bernadette. You could always watch the replay, and if you listen to Ally, there's no such thing as time. So
Nope.
what is late? What does late really mean? Um, it's awesome. Now I have so many things going through my head and how I wanted to kind of wrap this up that I forgot all of them.
That's
Um,
okay. Come into the moment. You're in the moment now.
I'm in the moment now. It is amazing to get all of these perspectives. I think that's the important thing right now. So, that's how I wrap it up. As I ask my guest if they have any words of advice, any words of love, any dad jokes, anything to share with my audience.
Yeah, go within. Know that your reality is yours. You're feeling it, you're experiencing it, you're embodying it, and you're living it each and every day. Stop judging other people. Your two eyes perceive and construct your reality. You have the control to change it. The key right now is to understanding the mastery of your neurological system and holding peace, calm, tranquility, and harmony within your embodiment, no matter how chaotic the world is getting.
I love that. I love that because in the end, we can only be accountable for our own essence. You know what I mean? It's not just action, it's essence. I mean, action does come off as a part of your essence, how you treat people, how you do things, how you react to things. Wonderful, awesome, amazing words, Allie. I hope you had a good time.
I did.
Yeah, this was a great conversation. I would definitely love to have you back and explore this some more. I mean, we didn't even get into very specifics about the quantum realm or these things. We just touched on all of these amazing things that are happening right now, and hopefully everybody out there received what they needed from this show. Again, we'll definitely have you back. It's a new year, folks. 2026 for me is about creating reality. It's about taking accountability for my own reality, right? I can't take accountability for your reality, but I can be this in your reality, right? I can have this show and you guys can come, and I love that you do. Thank you guys so much. But yeah, creating reality is the theme for 2026. And I love when I do that. I should get a little thing. My machine. Yeah, there we go. Woohoo. On Thursday, I'm having the live stream of consciousness, the first one of the year. Eileen Falcon, who is a certified life coach, but also an amazing woman who is bringing to your brain, asking you the question, if not now, when? Beautiful. That's perfect for my creating reality theme, because the only person that can do it is you. And this is what I'm doing. So thank you for coming to what I'm doing and being a part of it. Thank you, Allie. And I will see everybody on Thursday on the live stream of consciousness. And next Tuesday, I will see you back here. Peace.